Switching off our lights and only having the light from our screen, and yeah, don't use it in a completely dark room, it's not good. With natural light coming in through the window and us sitting next to it, and at least we can be seen now, but with us being overexposed from the light, which is what I was expecting. There is some flickering and grain to the image, which can be seen on our face, and it's more noticeable in the background. We try to manually configure the exposure in OBS, but when we drop this slider, -4, 3 and 2 don't do anything to the image, so we ended up with this really dark picture which didn't look great. So you are quite reliant on what the auto exposure can produce, using a small ring light in front of us, and it's not bad. This is the 1440p footage, and we get a frame rate of 30 frames per second, which it does look as though we are hitting. I did notice that the left side of the frame looked really blurry, especially when you compare it to the right side. Dropping the resolution down to 1080p will allow you to get 60 frames per second. This will close the field of view down, so not as much of your background is visible, but you will get more grain to the image compared to the 1440p, but that movement does look nice. Using our main ring lights in front of us, and we look pretty good. If you can control your own lighting, then this will be a great help in reducing the white glow that we do get on our face. We're still getting some grain and flickering, which can be seen on our shirt. This can also be seen in the background too. We did try using the manual exposure again, but I wouldn't recommend it, as it makes the image so dark that even when we turn our lights up full blast, it still doesn't really help things. Switching on some lights behind us, and it doesn't look bad at all. Still some grain to the image, and when we switch between different light colours, as this usually causes issues with the auto white balance on webcams, this one does seem to handle it quite well, and doesn't cause massive changes to our skin tone. This comes with an auto focus lens, which means that you can bring objects really close, and it will automatically bring that object into focus, and it does seem pretty quick in doing so. Toggling the focus between the object and us seemed to do a decent job in switching from one to the other. Removing a green screen in OBS performed well without us having to move any sliders. Just make sure your green screen is not next to your chair, as the green spill can make the chair become slightly invisible. This is a microphone test using the Nexigo N940p. You can adjust the volume of the microphone using the provided remote control. There is a button that we can tap here which will increase the volume of the mic, but I'll let you be the judge and see how loud this microphone's going. It comes with a remote control which allows us to stop the video feed by tapping the power button at the top, but the issue with this is that when we press it again, it doesn't bring the image back, so we have to manually enable the camera again in Zoom or OBS for it to work again. Bear in mind that the microphone does enable itself even when the image doesn't come back on. The arrow buttons allow us to pan across the image, which can be pretty useful if you're slightly off the centre of the frame and you want to line yourself up rather than manhandling the webcam to adjust things. We can zoom in by 10 steps too, which allows you to really close that field of view and hide the background, but do expect a loss in quality the more that you are zoomed in. We can flip the image horizontally or vertically, the microphone volume turned up and down, and the center button allows you to toggle between autofocus and manual, and you have control of the focus by pressing the up and down arrows on the remote control.